she's very different from me. Like my mother looks at my sister and I like we're aliens. Like she's very like, you know, just more conservative and like reserved. Like she'll give you her opinion, trust. But I just mean once she gets to know you, she's kind of shy.
Right.
And my sister and I are like complete opposites of that. Like we're not shy at all. So
Is your sister older or younger?
she's older, but you'd probably think I'm the older one. Everybody always does.
Right, okay.
She's 7.5 years older. It's such a bitch. I'm like, I'm the younger one. They're like, but she's awesome. But we actually grew up separately. So, and my brother, we all grew up very separately. So it was just a very different upbringing. But a lot of it was very religious. And so, you know, definitely. You did not curse. I was not allowed, ironically enough, to listen to secular music or perform it for a minute.
Until how old?
I think that was just until I moved out.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow.
And then I was like, turns out I'm going to sing secular music.
Kelly, did you sneak it? Like, did you ever listen to secular music? Yeah.
Oh, my God. I didn't even know what I was singing either, right? Like Red Light Special, TLC, that Creep record.
Love
what
that
the hell?
song. Yeah.
Why am I singing that at in junior high? I was like, that is so inappropriate. My mother had no idea.
How did you sneak it?
I had a whole stash in my closet that my mother never knew about.
Wow. She never went in your closet?
Not really.
So she trusted you then?
I don't know if it was so much trust, Penn. I think it was just...
well, it would have been unfound.
She was like, if you close your door, like to your room, like, she was like, just close your door. Like, I wasn't like messy, but I wasn't... Maybe how she wanted me to. I like to say creative. I was creative. But yeah, no, she kind of let me be. I was pretty independent, very young. So
that's cool.
Yeah, but no, I snuck it. Yeah, but I was told once I wasn't allowed to sing. Like I'd gone into like a competition. I didn't really even realize how. Like I didn't listen to a lot of secular in front of here. I did every now. It depended on the year, y'all. It depended on who was married and it just depended on a lot of things. But it was very different all the time. So I just kept my thing the same in my closet. But she found out I was listening to Jagged Little Pill and was not excited about that. And I still listened to it.
Well, naturally, yeah.
Yeah.
How old were you then, do you think? Was that like...
I was in junior high. So I don't know. I was probably like 7th, 8th grade when that came out.
What songs do you think spoke most to you then?
Well, that's the thing too. I kind of really didn't know what I was listening to fully. I think I grasp it like I can grasp it as a woman at this point. But I don't. You know, it's still that hidden track that she had at the very end that was a cappella. Oh, I love that song.
That was not a record that I was into, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
It's literally one of the best-selling records of all time.
I know.
It's an amazing record.
I know the record, but I just don't know the end.
Were you allowed to listen to? I mean, because I still listen to Nirvana. I listen to everything. And I also listen to Christian stuff too. Like I listen to a bunch of stuff, but like. Wait, you didn't listen to... I don't know anyone.
Yeah, that was not...
You're the first human.
Really?
You were the first human I've ever met that has not been like, oh my God, that record.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just wasn't... I mean, look, there's a lot of... We all have gaps somewhere. Like, that's just one of mine. I'm trying to think.
You're a lot younger than me, though.
Maybe.
You're not a lot younger than you.
I'm 36.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were 30. Oh, okay, you're 36. I'm 41. So
so we're
there's no
basically
excuse.
right there. My
Kelly,
wife is
you should have
40.
been listening.
You missed it, though. You were in elementary.
I
you were
don't
like
know
a
what you
baby.
guys are talking about.
But you're young. You actually missed it.
Yeah, I was like, y'all missed
missed
it. That's why. Yeah.
No, I was into it. I did not miss it.
Okay.
So good.
You're the cool one. Okay, I got you now.
Yeah,
Kelly, I want to hear a little bit more about you in middle school, and I want you to tell us, when did you know you were into music in like a special way, or when did you realize that was a talent of yours?
Well, that's actually pretty interesting because I grew up in church and everyone sings. And everyone sings well. I don't know if that's normal for everybody else's upbringing, but I feel
it's just Christians.
No, just Christians. We were just, the rest y'all were shite. But no, I just meant like even in my town, like even in our like choral groups, like everybody's always like, oh, you have like such a great voice. I'm like, yeah, I grew up with like a lot of great singers. I feel like I didn't feel like I really stood out until there was like kind of a moment in junior high, and I think I was eighth grade maybe, when I just kind of noticed I could hit things that maybe other people couldn't hit, and like with more of a belt, and because we're all imitators, right? At first, like
of course,
of whatever art you're into. I listened to a lot of like big female singers, like, and even male, like Steven Tyler was one of my favorites. So I think I figured that out, and other people kind of it wasn't even I figured it out. Other people kind of said, wow, you're like really good at that. And I was like, what? Oh, okay. Like it's like other people almost told me. And then you're like, all right. Like, and then I found out in like high school, I was like, wait, you can make money like really doing that. Like even, cause I didn't ever want to be like who I am now. Like I didn't ever want to be like the main, my whole thing was I wanted to be a background singer cause I love different genres of music. Because honestly, Mama didn't aim that high, so I just, you know what I'm saying? Like, this rarely happens. Like, it's like, it's rarely happens.
Statistically, it basically doesn't.
Exactly.
You can't expect
it's like
it.
a crazy
for it.
aligning of the planets. Like, it's like, you know, I'm very lucky, and it's a lot of hard work, but also a lot of luck. So, and in all fairness, I actually did want to be a background singer. Like, I love the background parts. I love harmony. I grew up singing harmony. I love that they're more intricate, more challenging parts. I love that they're more interesting. Yeah. And I wanted to sing with a bunch of different artists. So that was kind of my big goal. You know, and then that went to shite. So turns out I went the lead route after American Idol.
And was that really the turning point? Where you shifted from like, you know, whatever previous vision to,
Yeah, my place had burned. So I was working as a background singer in LA. Right after high school, a little bit after I moved out to LA, and I worked as a background singer. I did a bunch of things, got paid. I thought that was incredible, like learning that, oh my God, you can get paid for doing this and like make a living out of this. That's incredible. I didn't want a boring like cubicle job. Sorry, cubicle job people. That's so great for you. It's just not for all of us who are ADHD. Yeah. And so I don't know. I think whenever I moved out there, my place burned down. And I lived in my car for a few days, and then I finally had enough money to go back home to like save up money to come back out here. Cause I don't know if y'all have heard, but like living in LA is very expensive. And anyway, so, and I'd already had
Kelly,
like 3
can I
jobs.
just interrupt you quickly to ask, what was it like when your building burned down? I mean, that's just a
super
crazy.
shitty. Yeah. Like it was, we moved in that day. That is,
what?
That
you
is,
moved in and it burned it? Was it an
Tell us a
apartment,
little
by the
bit
way?
more about that.
the Croft Apartments on Croft Avenue off of Melrose.
Wow.
It was, I don't even know if they're still there, if it's different now. Because if it didn't burn, it had smoke and water damage. So like everything. And I literally left. We moved our stuff in because before that, I had just been living on like a mattress basically with this other chick that I barely knew that I moved there with and had, you know, 1 room and a bathroom, no kitchen. It was like college, like a dorm situation almost in this person's house. So we had just saved up money to move into this apartment, moved stuff in. Our insurance didn't kick in until it was like the next day or two. Cause like, what are the chances, right?
Yeah, no, truly.
And then went to Chili's to get some to-go, some chips and salsa, and came back. And they were like, you can't get through here. And we were like, oh, we just need to get to our apartment. And they were like, you can't. Literally hours within we moved in. Yeah.
That's crazy.
It was pretty crazy. Yeah. There is footage of me on the side of the street looking like not great. And like, you know, I'd been moving all day, like with a handkerchief on my head. Like it was, because they were like, oh, we heard you just moved in. Yep. So
when I heard that story, it made me wonder, what is your relationship to fate? Like the fact that happened, and then you, as I understand it, you auditioned for American Idol partly because
I moved home.
fire.
Like literally, I lived in my car for a few days because I was finishing out a job and I had a Crunch gym membership, and that's where I showered. And then I just was like, this is going to be too difficult. The roommate that I'd moved out there with, we were very, very different individuals. So that was already kind of a little hard. And I was like, all right, I'll just move. I pivot very easily. I think like coming back to that childhood stuff, like I've had to adapt like a lot of my life, which I'm actually very grateful for. I'm not complaining. I just mean, I think it helps me in this career, and I think it helps me in life. Like just be like, all right, we got to pivot. So, but yeah, no, I didn't like cry or anything. I think it was more hysterical. I was like, what are the chances of this happening to someone?
You just went to Chili's.
I just
That doesn't even take that long.
To not even go and eat and sit down. It was to go. It was
Back when
hot
to go
in the
was
car.
new.
Yes.
Wow.
It was
Might have
hot
saved your
in the
life,
car.
though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, maybe everybody made it out. I don't think anybody... And they never really said, like, we kept trying to figure out, because we were new. Obviously, we'd been there for hours. So I don't even ever remember figuring out how it started, or no one wanted to take credit for that number. So, so it was a really weird night. And I'm not going to out this organization, but one of the biggest aid organizations ever turned us away. Like, we had nowhere to go. And like we walked in because they said, oh, if you go to this church, it was like a gym or something attached to a church or whatever, one of their fellowship halls or something. And they were like, oh, we have too many in here. And it was like, can you do that? Or is that like what your whole point is? So yeah. And my roommate ran off with these randos. And we're like, I'm going to go stay with them. And I was like, well, I'm not going to become a Dateline special, so I'm going to hang out in my car. I was like, I'm just going to.
Wow.
And I don't even remember seeing her after that.
Have there been other moments in your life when something like seemingly kind of catastrophic happens and then it leads to something greater?
I mean, honestly, I'd say the most catastrophic thing was probably my divorce. So yeah, that was pretty horrible. And just, you don't see it coming because you see the struggle, obviously, for years, but you try or whatever. But, I think when you're in that, you cannot see anything else in front of you. Like, it really is all consuming, grief in general. So I think that turned into like all of a sudden now I literally live in New York now, and I'm done in LA, and I've never wanted to live in LA. So it was very beautiful that I got the opportunity to move the show here, and
your show's
now I
here
have
now.
this.
Wow.
Yeah, we're starting 5th season in the fall here at 30 Rock. So,
Whoa.
so my
Congrats,
whole life,
Kelly.
so something horrible that happened, but now came this beautiful thing. Like I'd been writing something for Broadway. I'd been a musical theater kid. Like I'd been doing stuff that like kind of was leading up to this, and I didn't know, and so it ended up.
Yeah.
It's ended up being this really beautiful thing. So. Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Which you don't see in the moment.
Yeah. No,
And
for
people
sure.
tell you, oh, it's going to happen. You're like, shut up.
Yeah.